Thanks for joining us for this second session on key tools for project managers. And as promised, that we're going to get practical with one of the tools that we mentioned in the first part. We're going to get our hands dirty with monday.com today. For those who are yet to follow this channel, please follow our channel. Also like, leave comment, and share this video. And if you want us to talk about any specific topic in some of our next free sessions, please share that in the chat as well. As you know, our goal is to provide content that helps you learn and develop in your career. My name is Ayo Kwewumi. I'm a certified project management professional. I've got multiple Agile certifications and multiple certifications cutting across different fields with years of experience leading projects and managing project managers. I help people get into project management and help existing project managers achieve their full potentials. And I've helped people with zero project management experience or technology skills to transition into project management. So whether you're an aspiring project manager, a new project manager, or an experienced project manager looking for an experienced and awesome coach and mentor, you are in the right place. Why not let's get started and get into the topic for today, monday.com. So you need a browser to get started, guys. So get on your computers and get on your browser. I'm going to switch screen now and move to my browser. And first thing you need to do is type in your browser, monday.com. So once you type that into your browser, it brings you straight to this page. And what you have now is monday.com. So this is the welcome page. And for me, I already have a user account, so I'm going to use that account. But for those who are just getting started, so that we're all on the same page, this is where you get started. So you click on Get Started, either here or here, and it has the dynamic login where you can use just Google. If you already have a Google account, you can just use Google instead of just putting in a name and trying to put in a password. So you just have single sign-on with your Google. So here you can click on Google, and if you want to use a different account name, you can just put it there, and then you click on continue. But before we get into all that, so once you do that, it takes you to monday.com page, and I'll show you what we're going to do a little bit later in a sec. Let's get into it. Let's just go back and take a look at the page. So here you can see what monday.com, their welcome page, is all about. So it talks about, their products right here. So if you click on their products here, you can see all their different products, the work management, CRM, they have the dev, and dev is the one that you would really use when you're using Scrum. So Monday Dev is the one that you would use when you're using Scrum. And they have the Monday service as well, so that's there as well. So for teams, you can see the team type depending on what you're doing. So you can get started from there, your company size, the industry you're in. So all that is right here. And here you can, on their platform, you can see the key features, the integration, add-ons. And here you can take a look at resources that can help you on monday.com. You want to know more about them, you want to look at their blog. If you already have an account, especially if it's a paid account, you want support. So all that is right here on monday.com. And you want to hear some of their success stories, you can find it right here. If we scroll down, you would see some of the things that is possible on monday.com. So exactly what you want to manage, what do you want to manage, which is the question. You can take a look at it and pick what you want. And they have tools and templates practically for most of the things you may need to do at work. And here you can see some of the brands that use monday.com, and you can see some of the big brands here, right there. So here you can see some of their testimonials, and this looks more from the Magic Quadrant, which monday.com is in the top quadrant for Gartner. So right there, and then you can check it, and you can actually download that report where you would see monday.com on the Gartner report. I know that for the Gartner report, monday.com is reported as one of the leaders for adaptive project management tools. So here in the adaptive project management tools, in these reports, you would see organizations, you would see tools like Asana, they are right there as well. So if you want to try it, you can get that report and going into it. One other thing right here, so this talks about the solutions that they offer, similar to some of the things that you've seen up there already. You can look at them, see what they do, and this gives you like a high level overview of what this tool is all about. So without much ado, let's get into the tool itself. As I said earlier, what you can do is if you're new to monday.com, you get started right here. So just click on get started and you're there. And you can use single sign-on with Google, and right there and then you're good to go. Okay, so that makes your job easier, it makes your life easy as well, and boom, there you go. Okay, I'm going to sign in into my own account because I already have an account. So just get started and just follow it step by step and log in into that account. Okay, with my account, I'll log in and then we'll get started. Okay, I mentioned, so here is my account, and there are a couple of things you can get done on Monday. For the purpose of our conversation today, remember it's key tools for project managers, and we're going to get a couple of things done. Okay, well, first thing we're going to do is we're going to build a project on monday.com. So we're going to develop our schedule, run our reports, and see some of the possibilities that are right there on monday.com. Remember, the list of things that we can do on monday.com or some of these dynamic tools are endless. And if you want to do more or you want to learn more, you can attend some of our sessions where we get to practice with this tool, we get to do real projects with these tools, and you gain more insights into how to actually use these tools in the workplace. So to get started today, we're going to build a new project. And here, this is what you're going to do. So you can see the plus sign here, right here. And this is where we're going to get started. Okay. So you will get here and straight into it, you would see project, portfolio, board, document, dashboard, form, folder, and then apps if you want to import data or the templates and that. But this is where we're going to get started. Home is just your home page. I'll just do a quick walkthrough for you guys. Home is just your home page. My work is all the work that you have. Everything is just going to be right there. So you can click on it and you can see. So this will show you if you have things on your calendar or you have stuff that you're meant to do. So all that will be right there. And if you have links that you've added to your favorites, that would show here, or items that you've added to your favorite, assuming you're doing a lot of work on monday.com and everything is just everywhere. You can actually make some of these things your favorite. Okay, let's get started. And here, what you're going to do is you can click here, okay, and you click on board, okay. Well, before you click on board, I'm going to show you something. Don't click on board yet. Just go to the arrow right beside board, okay, and you see new board. You can click on new board and you get started, and you can actually start with a template, okay. So let's do start with template. So click on start with template because that will take you to different templates that you can use. And because we're talking about project management, you can either get started right here, okay? Just click on project management here. That's one thing you can do. The other thing you can do as well is right here. You can see on the left hand side, you see project management. So you can click on it, okay? And then it gives you multiple project management templates that they have. Jira issues overview, basic project management, advanced project management, custom projects, stakeholder register, and all that. So you can find a couple of things right here. Okay, so that's something interesting. But let's just use basic project management because today I know some people are new to this and this is the first time they're doing it. So click on your basic project management. I'll go back there again for some people. click on your basic project management and click on use template. It's as simple as ABC. Okay, so today we're going to develop a project on monday.com, and there are a couple of possibilities on monday.com. So what we want to do basically is build a new project, as I mentioned, and you can have here your project overview where you have details about your project and you have everything here. So here, the advantage of using this particular one is that here you can actually put in your project. You can make this your project charter, okay? And I'll show you other things that you can do right here, okay? So, but just give me one moment while we get started. And before we get into all this one, let's get into the others. So your project overview, and here with getting started, it tells you, the things you can do. It tells you everything right there that you can do with your project plan. And this is actually where we're going today, which has to do with developing a schedule. Okay, we're going to develop a schedule. We're going to run reports. Okay, we're going to create a similar project on monday.com today. Let's take a look at the project overview. So here you want to chart out your project, and with these tools you don't have to get a document and fill in the document and do all that stuff, right? You can just do everything right there on this template. So this is what you do. If you want to charter your project, you want to develop your project charter right here, you can put the name of your project here, put the name of the project owner here, add your team members right here, put your project launch date here, your project summary, which is more or less the executive summary of the project. You can put your goals here, and here it talks about other documents. But how can you turn this into your charter? Okay, how you turn it into your charter is using this button here called add, right? So you can have this and just click add. Okay, so what you can do with this, there's a couple of things you can do. So you can add text, okay, with add, so you can see, write something right there, and you can also add multiple things there. So if you want to add a title, for instance, you can put something, and right here, so you can see multiple things that you can do. You want to change this to a bulleted list, that's right there as well, and there are more options for you as well. So all these things are here. Because this is not the objective of why we're here today, I won't take much time here. So, but these are things that are possible on monday.com. We're going to talk about that at a later date, and I can actually do a session on this, on how you can use this to develop a charter for your project, also develop other things within your project without leaving any paper trail, right? You have everything on one single tool, and then you're good to go. Guys, let's get into the main discussion today. We want to build a schedule. So today I've decided that we're going to build a schedule for a rain tracking application. Okay, so let's just assume in your heads that we have a farm. I want to track rain, how rain falls on the farm. It's a very big farm. It's a 100-hectare farm. And remember, when you have a 100-hectare farm, in some places there will be rain, in some places, even though it may rain, but some would have heavy rainfall, some might have light rainfall, and some may even have no rainfall at all. So we're going to do something very simple, and we're going to develop a project schedule. What's a schedule? A schedule is the step-by-step process of how you want to get your activities on the project done. So the step-by-step process of how you want to get the activities that you have on the project done. So that's what you want to do. So first thing is, we're going to break this project down into 5 phases, standard phases of project management, and we'll just do our normal phase of initiation, okay? And we'll do the next one, we'll do planning. So I'll just put planning here, and we're going to do execution, So here we call this our execution phase. Execution. And the next one, we're going to call it monitoring and control. Or we'll just call it a monitoring phase. Let's just keep it at that. And then here, the last one, we're going to call it our closing phase. Simple as A, B, C. So we'll do that. And what we're going to do is, because of our time, I won't populate everything right here with you. I'll just go in and populate it in the back end. What I'm going to do is just do that for you so you can see some of the things we're going to do. So, but first thing first is we're going to create sub items under these tasks. Okay, so under each one, you can actually create sub items. For the first three, they created that for us. For the last two, they didn't. So let me show you how you're going to do that. For monitoring, you just click on the arrow. There's a light arrow. You won't see it until you hover on it. It says expand this item. Just click right there on it, okay? And then it takes you, and you can then have your sub item or your sub task. Here in closing, it's the same thing. Hover on it, and it takes you to that sub item as well. So what we're going to do here is I'm just going to put in a few things that we'll do, and after that, I'll populate everything quickly, and we'll get back to it. So first thing is you want to develop your project charter as a project manager. If you're working in a traditional project, even for a hybrid or agile project, or it would be good practice or best practice to always have a project charter. That way you save yourself some troubles down the line, especially regarding keeping your scope integrity, right? So let's do that. So you want to let's see, we want to create so identify stakeholders is the next thing, which is standard as well. You want to identify your stakeholders, and you then want to define your project. Okay, project, develop project, or let me say define project objectives. Okay, and scope. Okay. Okay. And then I'll just populate the rest quickly so that it won't take much time there. So now I've populated all the tasks that we have for this project, and I'll just let you guys take a look. So one of the things you can also do on monday.com is you want to expand this particular column, because you can see some of the names are hidden, right? So you don't want them to be hidden. So one of the things you can do right here is just go here, okay? So where you have the sub item, and just go between the sub item and the owner and resize the column right here. So just pull it a little bit so that way you can see. So you can see that for each one, I've actually populated it, and I have the key things that we would do for each of the phases of the project. So initiation, we have all the things we're supposed to do. And remember, this list is endless. There are a couple of things we could do that I didn't put here today. Today, I'm just putting this for us to get started, for you to know exactly what to do. So, and for demonstration purpose, right? So I put in this here, and you can practice on your own, just try and build your own projects. So here, first thing we're doing is developing a charter, and then identify key stakeholders, and you can see all those things you would typically do in initiation, conduct a feasibility study, obtain approval from sponsor. Here, there are other things you can do, like developing, identifying your initial risks, and then, just putting all that together, defining what your project governance will be. There are so many things you can do in initiation that are not listed here. Planning, putting a couple of things you will do in planning, developing your stakeholder register, making sure that it's updated, and then developing your work breakdown structure, make sure that your scope statement is well refined at this point. You identify your deliverables after you've done your WBS, and some other things that you do in planning. In execution, because we're trying to build a solution, ideally, this would have been much better if we're using an agile approach. But right now, so it's simple for everybody, I'm just using a traditional project management approach. And here we're doing a kickoff, we set up our development environment, we'll develop our SRS and design our system arc and continue things like that. So there are so many things we can do here, perform our testing, UAT, especially right here. And in monitoring, you continue to manage your reads log, you look at your performance, how you're doing compared to your baselines, and you're checking things like that in your monitoring. And for closing, this is where you perform your final testing and QA, you complete your user documentation and training, you hand over the software to the client, or if it's operations, you hand it over to operations, and then you do your lessons learned session, you develop your project closure report, you obtain formal approval or acceptance from the client or if it's from your operations team, and then you release the project resources, and then you close project, and then you archive your documents. So those are things you would do on a project. And you can see right here, monday.com, boom, it's right there. One other thing we want to do before we go too far into this project is we want to give our project a name. Okay, so here, right, it shows basic project management. What we want to do is we want to rename our project and just call it something else. So remember we said we're building a project schedule for a rain check-in application or a rain check-in solution. So let's just say rain check solution. Here we go. So rain check solution, and right there, see, so we have our rain check solution right there. And so now we've done that, there are a couple of things we can do on this page. So one of it is you can assign an owner to these different tasks or activities that you have right here. And remember, we're using the free version of monday.com. So here you can only add one person because your license can only cover 2 people. So you can only add one person. But in other, if you're using not the free version, if you were using the paid version, you can actually add more than one person. So here, once you click on the plus sign, it tells you who you can add, so you can invite someone else by email. Okay, so that's one thing you can do there. Another thing we want to do is you want to look at your status, and everything I'm doing right here, right? Also make sure that you're looking at the main task, right? The phase that we're in. So you want to have your status and your status right here. So what's been done. So here it's very dynamic. So here you can have what you're working on, what you have already, right? Is it done? Are you stuck? And you can have a new label that's not there at all. So see here, you can click on edit labels and let's add a new label. Okay, so this default label, we can call it not started. Okay, not started. Super. And then you click on apply and it's right there. So you can find not started. So I'll just put not started so you can see, and everything becomes not started. I hope that makes sense for everyone today. To avoid confusion, I'll take this away because there's really no point having these. Just looking at what we're trying to do. So all you need to do is just go here, okay, and just delete this one that would come up at the bottom of the screen. So just delete it and you have your very clean schedule. And remember that our status is not started. One other thing I'm going to do, just not to take too much of your time, is I'm going to put in dates. But there's something I want you guys to do, okay? So instead of using this due date is good. I'm not saying it's not good because it sets reminders on your calendars and you can tie it to a couple of things, right? Instead of doing that though, I like to use another thing on monday.com that talks about your timeline, okay? So I click on timeline and automatically that gets into my schedule. Okay, so I click on timeline, it gets in. There are a couple of things I also want to do because here you can also budget. So you can click on numbers and your numbers will show right there. And you can see numbers is coming up. Okay. So here you can also go into this section where you can add columns, where I added timeline numbers. So it's a plus sign here, add column, and you can add as many things as you want. You can add dependency. So here you can talk about exactly what's dependent on what, okay? So you can see set up dependencies between items. So that's right there for you on Monday. Okay, so those are the ones I want to show us today because there's still a lot of things that we want to cover, and I'll just fix the timelines for all these tasks so that by the time we get our report, it's going to look fine and nice. So I'll do some of them, and then the rest you can also do on your own. If you'd like me to share with you all the activities that I put in for this particular project, you can let me know, and I'll just share with you the report from this project, and you can use it to build your own schedule and get something nice. Okay, let's get into the timeline. So for timeline, to set your dates, all you need to do is come in here and click on set dates. Okay, so once you click on set date, it takes you to what you need to do. And here you just go. For me, I'm going to say this project started in, let's say June. Okay, so let's start June 1, and everything in initiation I'm going to put in June, planning August, the execution in September, the monitoring in October, and the closing in November. Remember that project management is not, I mean, this task, as you see them, it's not a linear process. It doesn't have to be you do one and then you do the next one, right? It's not a linear process. Some would overlap. You may be doing some things in planning and you're doing some things in execution at the same time. Remember that, guys. But for demonstration purpose, I'm just going to use this and would use that just for the purpose of our schedule. Okay, so let's do the first one so that you guys can also build yours. So let's assume that our company, we don't work over the weekend and we only work on weekdays. So let's say we're developing a project charter and we start from June 4 and it will end by June 22. Okay, so that's done. Okay, and here one of the things you can also do is, if this is a main thing that must happen on your project, you can set this as your milestone, because having a project charter is very important. I'm going to set that as a milestone. Okay, so here, and you enter. Okay, so here you go, you do your remove the milestone first and then go back to it. Let's say we're developing for 4 to 22, and here we go, and that's good. So there you have your 4 to 22, but I'm still going to set this as a milestone. So let's say we have a develop project charter. Okay, so obtain approval from sponsor, we can set that as our milestone. But before we get there, let's quickly just take a look at the others. So June 4 to 24, while you're developing your project charter, we're also identifying stakeholders. So we'll do that from, say, June 5 to, say, June 29. Okay, because that's always, you never stop identifying your stakeholders within the project. So there we go. And then I go to the next one, which is this. So I go to the next one right here and say you want to define your project objectives and scope. That happens as well from, say, June 5 to the 18th. Okay. And then the next one, conduct feasibility study. And that also happens. Remember, I told you that these things don't necessarily follow the way I put them, but I'm just using them for demonstration purpose. Okay, so you have that while you're developing all that. You can set that here. Okay. And another thing, the last one, we're going to set this as a milestone. So let's just set it as a milestone. Obtain approval from sponsor. Let's say that's a milestone that must be achieved by June 28. Okay, so there you go. So boom, you can see that we're set, right? For this other one as well, we want to have numbers. So let's say develop a charter, assuming that we're using a vendor, and the vendor is going to charge us $100, okay, to develop the charter. Okay, and here, let's say we have something else again, identify key stakeholders. Let's say they want to charge us $150. Okay, define project objectives and scope. Maybe that's already included in developing the charter. Conduct feasibility study. Let's say that's going to cost us more, so $290. And then obtain approval from sponsor. That's going to be $0 for sure. Okay, so that's it. Okay, so that makes it very easy. Let me populate this for you guys, and we can have a very clean schedule. One other thing I'm also going to do is I'm going to remove these due dates that you see right here. So you can see due date, or if you want, we can also make the end dates the due date. So that way it's simple. But since we have a timeline, there's no real reason to keep the due date. So you can delete it or you can keep it if you guys want. Okay, so let me populate this and then we'll get back and continue in our wonderful session today. So it's as simple as this, guys. Now we have the timeline for each of the tasks that we're going to do. I also assigned budgets to some of them, but I also want to show you for some. So for instance, this will cost us some money. So we can say this is 250. And let's take a look again and see this would cost us some money. Let's say this is 350. This will cost us some amount, and you can add as much as you want, okay? So whatever you want, you can just look at it. Whatever will cost you money, you just add your budget right here. Simple as that. And I mentioned to you guys that I was going to delete the due date. I wanted you guys to see how I was going to delete it. So you just go here, select your settings, and here you just delete, okay? Simple as that. Okay, once that's deleted, we take a look at it. I added dependency the other time. I'm just going to show you how to use your dependency. So here you pick it and you can see it's a beta release from monday.com, and they already told us here that in the future, this may require some payment, but right now it's still free. So let's enjoy it, guys. So let's look at something that would have a very clear dependency. Obtain approval from sponsor would be dependent on developing the project charter. So there, I just put this, develop project charter has obtain approval is dependent on you developing the project charter, and it's a finish to start dependency. It's as simple as that, right? So here we go. Develop project charter, and it's a finish to start dependence. So you can see it right here, okay? So there we go. We're good with that. So I use that as an example. We can also see some other ones as well right here. Let's take a look. Another one would be develop your work breakdown structure is dependent on you having a clear scope statement, right? So let's pick scope statements, develop scope statements, and we would find it. And we can actually look here and just find scope. Okay, so yeah, it's defined project scope statement, and it's a finish to start dependency as well. Okay, so there you go. And we're good. So that's another one again. And oh, that didn't add, but I'll add it again. So develop your scope. Develop scope. So, and finish the start. That's it. And right there, it's there. Okay, so now you see how you can add your dependency, and you can do that for all the different tasks in this project. But because of our time, I'll just go over some of the things. You can, if you take a look here, so I updated the date here from the start date to the end date. So June 4th to June 28th, you want to do that for all your tasks, for all the phases. Just look at the task under them, the early start to the, to the late finish that you have here. So July 2nd to July 31st. So I'll just do that July 2nd. You can see it's actually in 2023, but we're doing our stuff in 24. So July 2nd to July 24, July 31. And here we go. 2 to 31. There you go. It's still 31. It doesn't want to go, guys. And 31. Okay, so, and then here we go to 31. So there we are, and we have that right there, and that's pretty good for us. Okay, and if you take a look, you'll see that that's already included. Never mind all these alerts showing us 51 days overdue. This is showing us 84 days overdue. And you want to do that for all your tasks as well. So let's go back. Some of the other things you want to learn today, guys, is taking a look at your status. So status here, let's assume that this is done because they were all meant to be done in July and June. So here we go. And this is done. Everything here is done. So it's just giving us some ferries, and here let's assume this is done as well, right? So there we go. Okay, so that's done. And this it was it's showing us that it was actually done 84 days after the deadline, right? So there we go. And then if you take a look at this as well, if you want to click done here, just to show that it's in the past month and we're done. Okay, so you just want to highlight that as well and say it's done. It's as simple as that. Done. And you can see where I'm going. So it's that simple. So now you've seen how you can, if you want to impute a budget on your schedule, you can just put that right there. And I've shown you how you can develop this as well. Let's take a look at a few other features that we have on monday.com. So you guys can practice with these. Just give it a try yourself and see how this comes out for you. Let's take a look at some of the other features, guys. So like I mentioned right here, where you have this add column, this plus sign, you can add as many things as you want, okay? So you can add tags, for instance. You can come here and add formulas, text, priority. So if you add priority, for instance, that would help you identify if it's a critical task, if it's high, medium, or low, right? So you can put that here. Developing a project charter is critical. Identifying key stakeholders are critical. Defining your project objectives, practically everything is critical, right? Some of you would say, I'll say this is high, and then obtaining the approval is critical to our success. Developing the charter would be, the stakeholder register, though it's very important. We already said we identify our stakeholders right at the beginning. So this could be medium right now. Define the project scope and create the scope statement. We can put that as critical. And then develop the WBS. That's very important. Identify project deliverables. Without project deliverables, you actually don't have a project. Estimate time and cost, I could put that as high. Develop a project schedule, high. And risk management plan, well, I could put that as, a medium. It's important to have a plan, but it's something important but not urgent. And then create project budget, well, I'll put that as a high because I have to get people paid, so that's important. Assign project team and define role, that's critical. If people don't know what they need to do, at the end of the day, they'll mess up your project. And finalize and get approval for the project plan, we can put that as high. So you can see right here, you can see some of the tasks that you need to do, where they are and stuff like that. And here we can click this as done. Okay. So if you put this as done, it shows that it's done, and it makes our report come out very nice. Okay, here, not started. Let's change all this, everything in planning to done. Okay. And when you come to your execution, I'll just put it as working on it for now. I'll put monitoring as working on it, and we can leave closing as not started. So it's just there. So that makes it easy. And there's other things you can add right here, guys. So you can look at these. We added priority just now, and there are many more things you can add. If you want to add more, just go to more columns right here and search whatever you want to add, and you should be able to add it right there. Hey, let's have some more fun, guys. So you have your Gantt chart, right? So here's your Gantt. And with your Gantt, ideally, you would have all just what we know right now. But let's see what we have in our Gantt. So here is showing our initiation, our planning, it's showing our execution. But look at the date, you can see it's in 2023, okay? So that's why execution is coming first before initiation. So let's go and fix that. And our execution shouldn't be in 2023, it should be in 2024. So that way everything can show up on our Gantt, okay? So just go to 2024, and what's the early start and the early finish? August 3rd to August 31st. Okay, so here we'll just go to August 3 to, not milestone, to 31st. There you go. And we'll change the year for 2023 to 2024. And voila, there we are. So we'll start from the 2nd to the 31st. Okay, and there we go. So you can see that that's updated. Let's put a date for this one. We start when? We start August 1st and it ends on October 14, October 19, or October 31. So August 1st, the 1st of August to October 31. Okay. Super. And there you go. And we'll do the last one as well. So that will be 1st of October to the 31st of October. October 1 to 31st. And there you go. Boom. So let's go back to our Gantt and you would see some difference, okay? In our Gantt, can you see that our Gantt has changed based on the changes that we made? There are other things you can do on your Gantt as well. I won't be able to show you everything today, but here, if you come to your settings right here, okay, you will be able to make changes to your Gantt. For instance, if you want to see all the subtasks the way we have it here, you can actually see it that way in your Gantt. All you need to do is go here into the Gantt and make changes in your settings, okay? So here, because it's in project mode, because we selected that project template from the get-go, it already has a project report included. What you can do is, because we didn't add people, if you had added people, you would have had tasks per person, so it will show what number of people you have and what tasks they're managing per time. And then here you can add additional widgets, but those widgets would ideally just highlight the faces, okay? So there are other places you can also change that, but those widgets would highlight those faces. So for instance, we can create a chart to tell us where we are with things, okay? So you can see, as I mentioned, it will just focus on the faces. See, done and working. So working on it, initiation and planning is done. We said our execution and monitoring are in progress. So you can say working on it. For closing, we said that's not started, and that's why it's not showing up on the chart. So you can add that widget. You can also come here as well and add more widgets as you wish, right? So as many widgets as you want to look at one for numbers, and here, so that won't fully reflect the numbers that you have. All you want to do is just go here, okay? Go to this spot, okay? Go to the settings and you can make changes right there. Okay, additional widgets, go to more widgets right here, and you can search for widgets that would help you right there. And you can go into their categories as well. You would see different types of widgets that you can put in your reports. A few more things before we go today. So here, just go straight up. And I'm going to show you how you guys can. So there are other things you can add before we even go there. So if you go right here, you can add other views. So you want your project to show in Kanban mode, you can actually click this and boom, you have it in Kanban. So the same way you have your done, working on it, not started, stock, and all that. So it shows right here. And as well, you can also add some other things right here. Let's get into some other functionalities beyond this. So I'm going to show you a few things before we go today. And here, if you want to do things like duplicate your board, you want to download. So let's get into how you can do that. Let's get back to our main table. I like that view a lot. So here, you just go here, you go to more actions, and you can see here, you can duplicate the board, okay? So if you duplicate this board, for instance, you keep working on the same thing. Today, we're building a rain check software or application. And next week, we're going to build, let's say, a door knocking solution. I'm just picking something from the sky there, right? Or you can pick something that helps you track while you're not in your vehicle. let's say your kid is driving the vehicle, you just want to be sure that they're not going above the speed limit. So let's say you're just using something that tracks your vehicle speed. So let's say we're developing a vehicle speed tracking solution. So there you can, let's say we're doing almost exactly the same thing. As a project manager, you want to make sure that you leverage the work that you've done in the past, and you want to work smart so that you're not just developing things from the scratch. All you need to do is just click on duplicate board right here, and you can just put duplicate of, this project plan, and you can say solution, maybe let's say speed checking solution. Okay, project plan. And here you can tell it exactly what you want it to duplicate. For me, I would usually pick just the board structure and the items and say keep board subscribers. So everybody who's attached to the board will just automatically get updates. If you're getting an entirely new team, you don't need to keep the board subscribers. Just leave it that way and just click duplicate. Okay. And voila, board would be duplicated. Okay, so it will just duplicate the board and you would see it come right here. So you can see speed checking solution, right? Project plan. Initially when we started, I said this is the range check solution. That's what we named this as. But now that we're duplicating, we may want to rename this to something else. Maybe we just say this is a solution development tracker or solution development project plans. And here you name each one for the separate projects that you're working on. So that's something else you want to do. You want to export this to Excel right here. Like I said, you can just go here, more actions, and you can export this board to Excel. That's something else that you can do while in monday.com. Okay, so those are some of the things that you can do. I know you may have questions. Please, if you have questions, feel free to share those questions. I want to make sure I'm respecting time. And if it goes for too long, you'll be bored. So we want to keep it short and sweet. I'll show you one more thing before we go today. So if you go here, okay, you would see something called Power Ops. Okay, Power Ops will just help you get your things done faster. So instead of creating, so let me show you how you can create dashboards. So we won't use Power Ops. So you can go here, look at this sign, this plus sign. So here it can ask you if you want to create dashboard, you click on it and you can begin to customize whatever you want to create. So here, create dashboard, you ask for name and things like that. But instead of doing all that, you can come here to options right here and just click Power Ops. Okay. Once you click Power Ops, it asks you dashboards. You click on it, straight up, voila, it's done. It just creates it. One connected board, it connects it automatically, and you can begin to add widgets similar to the one that we have right there. So you can add your charts, you can add your numbers, you can add your battery, you can add, as many things as you want to add, right? So right here, right there. So you can add as many things as you want. Here, some other things just within the old one as well. Let's go back to our plan. So right here, you can still go back to the same spot. Your Power Ops, if you want, whatever you want, you can select from all these. But the last two would be this one. So your automations, which are things you can use to automate what happens. So these automations are pretty straightforward. It tells you exactly what it is. So, and you can see what they are here. So if you want to use their automation, you can go right here and select. For instance, if you're automating with Gmail, it says when status changes from something to another group, right? You then want to maybe send an email to someone. So those are some of the things you want to do. And instead of going down and searching for everything here, you can actually go to, they've already made the automation very simple. You can go to due date, recurring. Is it a status change? Is it a new item that is being created? Is it an item that was moved? Right? So all those things makes your life easy as a project manager. And you can see for your boards and automation, your connections, your usage, they're all here. And also still within Power Apps, last thing is if you want to integrate some of the apps that are here, so you go to your app marketplace and you can see a couple of tools that are there that you can use right there. Okay, I know you may be interested in how you can export some of these things. So if you come here, I showed some of you before just to make sure that you don't forget it. If you come to your more actions right here, you can actually see export board to Excel. Okay, so you can see that export board to Excel right there. Last thing would be in your project report. If you want to export to PDF, you find that in project report, once you click on project report, just go back to the same options, go to more actions, and you just click on export to PDF. That brings us to the end of this session today. I know some of you are really interested in getting to know more. So one of the things you can do, guys, is practice. And for those of you who really want to be the rock star in using these dynamic project management tools, you want to be a guru at using them, I'm going to tell you one little secret. We have a bootcamp coming up. It's a practical project management bootcamp where you can become that rock star in using these dynamic project management tools. You get to practicalize it yourself with the guidance of a mentor. And there's a lot more in the bootcamp, even beyond just using these tools. So here we're going to make you that project management hero, whether you're just getting started in your career, whether you're new to project management, and it doesn't matter what your background is. Either you've been in technology before or not, or you've known about project management before or not. This is a zero to hero class. You come in and you're working with a mentor who has a lot of experience in different project management verticals, and you get to use a lot of tools within this bootcamp. And you also get mentored. We take a look at your resume. We prep you for interviews so that you go out there and you can get what you want. Okay, this project management bootcamp starts from October 12 to December 14, 2024. And if you're watching this video actually after the bootcamp has started, we always have sessions from time to time. So maybe you want to join the next one. But this current one, while we're doing this video, starts October 12 to December 14. And the class schedule is Saturdays, 8 a.m. Central Time, and Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Central Time. So it doesn't matter, like I said, what your background is. We are here to help you make you that hero that you want to be in project management. Just head straight to our website at www.aaaconsults.com/project management bootcamp, and that's where you would get to register for the upcoming class or whichever class you want to register for right there. And then, okay, guys, what's next for you guys? As usual, practice, and follow our channels on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok, all at AAA Consults, and reach out if you have any questions. For those of you who may want to have that schedule that I used, I can get that downloaded for you and send it to you. So if you want it, all you need to do is just ask, and you can reach out through any of these channels on Instagram, on Twitter, on YouTube, or on TikTok if you would like to have that. And join our next free learning session. And I would encourage you, if you want to be that project management rockstar as well, learning under a mentor where you would really gain a lot of hands-on experience, join our next bootcamp as well. And don't forget, once again, guys, practice. Until I see you again in one of our next free sessions. And for those of you who are joining the project management bootcamp, I'll get to see you there. Until I see you then, have a wonderful time, guys. And I want to see your success stories. Please share them with us on our channels and as well in the comments to this video. Have a wonderful time all. Get to see you. Bye.